Yo,
Hello.
how you doing?
Doing well. How are you, young man?
I'm well.
It's good
I
to
like your
hear.
outfit.
Thank you. I went,
Nice.
Whoa, yeah, your outfit is fucking
Sick.
sick.
I was feeling the neon. I was just kept going with it. Well, welcome to this episode of the Wax Toaster. I'm just gonna say welcome Stuart. How do you pronounce your last name correctly?
It's just Bratty.
Bratty. Cool.
Yeah, that's it. I hear all kinds of things. Battery, Brady, Bratley. Yeah, but it's Bratty. You can call me whatever though.
Yeah, I've dealt with the same thing. Coburn, Coburn.
Yeah, I can see that. And same with you, Joey. I actually don't know how to pronounce your last name.
It's pronounced Lunger. I get
Okay.
Lunger a lot. I get
Right.
Lunger.
Lunger? Yeah.
Lunger is the
Yeah.
funniest one.
I hear Lunger sometimes, but okay, now it's straight.
Yeah,
Nice.
Lunger.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I think my ancestors used to like cook lungs or some shit. I don't know.
Well, now that we're all acquainted.
Yeah, now that everybody knows how to say everybody's last name, it is helpful. But
Yeah.
please like, subscribe, all that shit. Going right into the spiel. Okay. Tell friend. Awesome. So Expressor was amazing. How long were you working on that?
I guess the first like bit of footage for that was filmed in August, maybe July. Because Danny got a camera around then, and then we started filming when he got the camera. I think it was August, and then I guess the latest footage was in March, like this month, the beginning of March. So it's like a 6-month period, roughly. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
The skating's real tight.
Thank
I
you.
like you on the
Like
season.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I haven't put out much footage on Seba's really, but
yeah, I always enjoyed it in the past, especially like the Wizard and like when you were like watch the game stuff was all in the Sebas. Like
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they fit your movements really well.
Yeah, that was the last thing I skated before I skated Valos was Seba's. Yeah. Yeah, and now I'm back on them. They feel good. Yeah. I just like I'm just obsessed with really stiff skates, like really supportive. And that's basically the only thing I like about them. Like I don't like how they look, and I don't like the sole plates. I take off the straps on the skates and the bumper on the side so that they're as slim as possible. I think they're kind of too fat too, but I just like how rigid
you skate them gutted with the intuition, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're basically just skating the carbon.
Pretty much.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Is there like a cuff high on that, or do you have like any ankle problems, or is that like a concern for you?
Ankle problems have been like a little bit of a concern, but I don't know if it's from cuff height really, more just like forward flex. Like I feel like the Sebas are not abnormally high or anything, but the cuffs on them, the plastic cuffs are just particularly stiff compared to other skates, I think. So
less forward flex on those?
Yeah, a little bit less forward flex. Yeah, that's actually like a lot of people have asked me why are you skating Sebas now? Which is a valid question, but because I skated thems for a couple of years and then I like stopped. And that was because they really don't work for my feet in terms of the sizing, which I feel like a lot of other people are dealing with as well. But I'm right between an extra small and a small. So I skated small 908s for about 2 years. And then I started slowly getting like ankle pain from the forward flex and my foot just moving in the skate too much, like
shifting forward too.
Yeah, exactly. And I would try to fill it out a lot with like an insole and like no lacing in the liner and that kind of thing. But it came to a point where like my ankles were just swelling up after skating, like just taking impact. And then it got worse and worse and worse. And then I was like, I can't use these anymore. So I had to switch. But yeah, my foot, like if you think about where the opening is, like with the eyelets in a skate. So if I put my skate in a small them, like just my foot with no liner, I can stick my toes out of like the opening. Like that's how big it is on me. So in retrospect, it was kind of silly that I skated them for as long as I did. I feel like it was just like not appropriate.
That seems like
Even
almost
like
like
state,
it
yeah,
was like an inch or an inch and a half, or like a
yeah,
half an inch
like
of space.
at least, yeah. So
That's insane. But the extra small is just way too small. Is that the deal?
yeah, the extra small is about the same length as my foot. Like if I take out a liner and just put my foot in the shell,
there's like just no extra room.
Yeah, it's basically the same length or a little smaller than my foot. So
you're like a true 7.5.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
It
is what it is. Yeah,
that's cool though that you found a skate that works. And yeah, I like the way you skated them. You're skating them anti-rocker as well, right?
I am. Yeah.
Is there a reason for that choice, or like?
I think I skated flat for maybe 5 years. And then I also skated a lot of wizards for a few years.
Yep.
And I just became curious about how anti-rocker would feel after getting a lot better at the fundamentals of skating and actually striding and whatnot. Because I started skating on anti or freestyle kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So after skating flat for some years and wizard, I was like, I wonder if anti feels different now. And it sort of does. I think it just works well for me. I don't really know why, but I just like how quickly I can accelerate skating anti, and there's no like taking impact. I feel like I'm very like my feet stay very straight, and there's no like wobble from like slight rockering or
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you feel like all the time you spent skating flat has kind of made you appreciate skating anti-rocker more?
Yeah, I would say that. And the thing about flat is like it feels great when you have new wheels and then you wear your wheels in and it's like keeps feeling better and better, but then it gets to a point where it's like, oh, this is rockered now. And then I really don't like having the rockered feeling because I feel like it's harder to get speed, if that makes sense. Like a flat setup is only a flat setup for a very short period of time, and then technically it's not anymore, if that makes sense.
That does.
Yes, it does. I like when it gets like naturally bananaed. I love that idea.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Yeah.
I think Stuart's version, when it's right out of the box, I think I prefer that better. Everything's a lot more precise feeling under your feet.
Mm-hmm.
When you decide to roll around, it's closer to anti-rocker, and then it, like you guys said, it becomes all bananaed out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of why I like antis, because it just always feels the same. But I go through wheels like crazy. That's the difference.
Yeah. You must be blowing through them at this point.
Yeah. It sucks.
Trade-off.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're still able to do some of those movements like that you are able to with like a slightly bananaed or like you were saying, like a wizard?
Maybe I can do them, but I don't think I can really execute them the same way, and it doesn't feel as nice. Yeah, like doing like swivels and stuff without middle wheels kind of works, but you don't really get much. Like you just lose speed, you know? Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it seems like your skating is like moving past those movements anyway. So
yeah, I guess so. A little bit. I still skate wizards quite a lot. So I kind of get my fix doing that, but
okay.
I just haven't filmed anything on wizards in a while, but I still skate them. Like I have a wizard setup as well.
Sick.
Yeah.
Because I was just showing Taylor some of the skate moves.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I love all those, and
Yeah, those are fun to look back on for sure.
Especially skate. We took a look at part 7. You do this one move where you do like a complete. It's like I would describe it as like a citric wrap, and then you have your feet crossed
Oh yeah, yeah. Is that the one inside? It's in
in a
skate
hallway
shop?
style.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's like
That's in Shop Task, yeah.
Oh no. I don't think it's that one. It's the one that's like at night under like a bridge.
Oh
kind of.
yeah. Okay, under Cami Bridge. Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can never remember which episode is which, but
Yeah. Specifically 7 is my favorite.
yeah,
Like,
that's
I
the
love
one.
Yeah. But yeah, you do like that move. I can't even get my hands to do it, dude.
Yeah, that's another one. Like I've been trying to do that on aggressive skates, but I can't, like my soles get in the way.
Mm.
But I feel like it's an interesting way to go from fakie to forwards without taking your feet off the ground. It's like I could step around and then cross my leg, and then one foot is backwards, and then I just unwrap my other one, and then I'm fakie. I've always wanted to film that, like in a line or something, as a way to just turn around from forwards to fakie, but I can't really do it on aggressive skates.
Have you been trying it like with anti-rocker and with flat, and it's both?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just doesn't work. I'm also not as flexible. Like it's weird. I watch some of the stuff from those edits because they're like 5, some 6 years old now.
Yeah, we were trying
There's a lot of stuff. How old they were. Yeah, like there's all kinds of moves I can't really do anymore. Like I'm not flexible in weird ways that I used to be.
So this is a question that Vasugi inspired me to ask you. Or
okay.
Well, this is a question from Vasugi.
Yeah.
Can you talk about like that time? It's basically from 5 years ago to now. You've had a basically like a physical development. You don't look like physically built the same way that you do in those skate moves edits. You look much more slim and like just bendy in general. And now you look a little more bulked up, your shoulders, your biceps, you're looking a little more fit. Was there like a conscious decision that you made?
Boy, it's good.
Yeah, I don't feel like any kind of transition happened, so to speak, because I guess it was gradual, but I definitely, when I was around 19, 20 years old, which would be like skate moves era, 2015, 2016, I started getting like little chronic injuries, like knee pain. And there was a period of time when I was separating my shoulder relatively frequently. And just like noticing that I would get like these little injuries from skating that wouldn't go away, that would just kind of linger with me, and I would skate through them, but they wouldn't really just heal properly. So I started doing a lot of other physical activity outside of skating, which I didn't do throughout my teens, I guess. I just skated really. But yeah, I guess I sort of started to think about like, okay, if I want to keep skating and be pain-free or whatever, then I need to actually do other stuff outside of skating to like maintain feeling healthy. It's like I can't just keep skating because I'm just going to have all these problems pop up. That's just kind of what started to happen. And then yeah, I guess I got into doing more like cardio stuff, got some just like random exercise equipment at home, started stretching more. Number one though is getting a roller, like a foam roller, because I was getting knee pain from just doing like those kinds of tricks that you used to see me do.
Yeah, I'm sure
it makes sense.
Yeah, like doing weird crossover stuff, and also a lot of negatives, which I don't do so much anymore.
You did do a lot of negatives in the past. Yeah,
so I feel like I stopped doing that stuff almost subconsciously, and then because it was hurting me a little bit, and then my knees were getting to a point where they were just kind of tight all the time, and like my thighs were tight all the time.
Yeah.
And that was not a good feeling. It just like wasn't going away at all. Then I got a roller and then started rolling religiously
The
after
thighs.
skating, which I still do all the time. And that helped a ton and has like taught me a lot about how your legs work and how important it is to have like just loose, like your calves have all this like stress and tension in them, and your thighs and your hips and all that stuff. So started doing that, and then my knees started feeling way better, which was a big thing. And then from there, yeah, I got into running for a little while. Because I had like no idea. I was like, do I have good cardio or not? Because the only kind of gauge you have is skating bowl, I feel like, or just doing lines in the skate park to tell how your cardio is. And that's not really something I do. I don't really skate much bowl or transition or mini ramp or anything like that. So I got into cardio, and then at the same time, like Danny started getting into like cardio stuff, going to the gym. We live in Vancouver, and Vancouver has excellent public community centers with fitness centers in them and swimming pools and stuff. So we take advantage of that as much as we can. So yeah, I think it sort of stemmed from like, there's like these little chronic injuries that I had. And my way of dealing with them was to just start being active in other ways besides skating. And then it sort of just like kept going and going and going. And now it's like, yeah, I work out now, not a ton, but like at least once or twice a week. I have stuff at home. I'm on the roller a lot. I have a jump rope.
Was there a point where you're going more though than like once or twice a week? You were like on like a 5-day type of thing?
I don't know about 5, but like,
4?
I mean, in the winter, like there's been, a couple of the past winters, if I can't do anything else, then yeah, I'll just go to the gym or just like hang out at the pool or something, go to the hot tub, go to the sauna, just chill. Like I lived in a neighborhood that had a really great facility just down the street.
And it was free.
Not quite free, but I had like a membership that was very inexpensive, so I could go as much as I wanted.
And even Danny would hit that one, or would he go to a different one? Or
Danny go to a different one, but we'd sometimes meet at a particular one, because Vancouver has like, I don't know, there's like 30 facilities in the city, and they're all on the same system where it's like you buy a membership and you can go to any of them.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's cool. Really cool.
Yeah, which I've realized is not how it is in a lot of other cities at all, especially
definitely
in the States. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
And that's not something like I grew up with either. It's just, Vancouver is great in that way. Yeah. I don't know if that answers Vasugi's question, but
I think we're getting to an answer of sorts. I mean, it definitely explains the Danny's calendar, why he's so jacked in that thing. If you guys are hitting the gym that often, makes sense. You guys definitely put in some gym time. Are you getting a calendar next, or?
Damn, I don't think I'd be able to do, like, I don't know. Danny just has that kind of personality. Like, I'm looking at it right now. I have it up in my kitchen. It's beautiful.
You could pull like a blue steel type of thing. Just don't even do funny. Just do all like
all just the straight faced. I'm about it.
Yeah.
Especially December is like would be great.
Yeah.
We'll recreate December.
I'm into that. We could do that. You could be Santa Claus.
Oh, perfect.
There you
Let's go. That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm really glad that Leon, I don't know if you saw, but they're selling the calendar now.
Oh,
like you don't have to buy the skates anymore.
Nice.
So more people will hopefully just buy it without dropping the bills, you know.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick one of those up just for collector's item.
Yeah,
collector's
exactly.
item.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Do you
So
have a favorite month?
My favorite month. Well, this month is pretty good. I don't know if you can see this, but he's right there. So he's on a bed reading a book.
oh, it's where he's laying
Yeah, he's laying on
belly.
his stomach. I think that's my favorite thus far. I don't remember April, but it's coming up.
Yeah, that one's definitely very playful. He's reading you a book. It's like a bedtime story, but it also seems like slightly X-rated.
Yeah, a little bit. It's nice. They did a great job. Like every single one is just so well done. Every
Yeah,
name.
I think the puppy one is probably my favorite. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Sucker.
Yeah.
So what got you into rollerblading in general?
Um,
So you're how
that's
old now?
yeah, that's a lot to unpack right there.
Let's start off with how old you are now, and then how old were you when you maybe started getting into this?
I'm 25 now, just turned 25 this month, and I got into skating in summer 2009, so I was 13. And my brother Colin also got into skating in 2008 or 9, sort of thing.
So a
So
little bit before you.
a little bit before me, yeah, and some of his friends before me. But Danny, he also grew up in the same hometown as me and Colin. So Danny had always been skating. I think Danny's been skating since the 90s. He definitely has. Like he was skating from a very young age, like 6, 7, 8 years old, I think.
And how old is he now?
He's 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, that
Yeah.
explains quite a bit.
Yeah. So Danny there was like a generation of people that Danny skated with that were his age. And then a lot of Danny's friends started getting out of skating after high school. And then Colin and his friends popped up. And then I popped up. And then we just started skating with Danny kind of immediately. But he'd been skating for a long time.
And
When you guys
Yeah.
say, so you guys lived in the same city and you guys just popped up, like, were you guys going to school or like, how did you pop up and see each other?
Yeah. Well, we're from a very small city,
Okay.
about 100,000 people. And
where's this? If you
this is in a province called Newfoundland on the east
Okay.
coast of Canada. And
East
the
Coast?
city is called, yeah, the East Coast. The city's called St. John's. So
Cool.
yeah, Danny's also from there. And then I had a friend in school who's Danny's little brother. And this is like my best friend. His name's Tommy. And then there's like, I grew up hanging out with Tommy since I was like 6. And there was always like, oh, Tommy's brother is Danny Beer. He's a rollerblader. And then there's got another brother, Matt Beer, who's older. He's a mountain biker. And then I was always aware that like Danny was this skater. Like I knew this since I was like a very small boy, like 5 or 6. And then once my older brother got into skating when I was like, 12, 13. And then it was like, oh, now my brother's hanging out with Danny Beer because Danny skates. And like Danny doesn't have many people to skate with anymore because a lot of his friends are getting out of it. So then it was like this natural thing.
So what was the name of the town one more time that's producing these so many rollerbladers?
Yeah, it's funny. It's called St. John's.
St. John's. Okay.
Yeah,
a lot of talent came out of St. John's. Who would have guessed?
I guess so. Yeah, usually it's just kind of hockey players, but there's athletes doing other stuff on skates besides hockey as well. Yeah. So yeah, we started skating with Danny Beer in 2009. I had a neighbor who had a P-rail, and I saw him one day skating his P-rail on his street. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, and then he's just doing, soles and whatnot, top soles. And I just kind of hadn't really like watched anyone skate a P-rail before. And then he let me try his skates. and I didn't know if I was able to actually skate. I had no idea if I was able to rollerblade.
This is your first time, first go. Danny
Yeah.
Beer gives you your skates to go try to skate for the first time.
This isn't Danny Beer, but it's another guy named Connor who I still skate with. He's like friends with Danny Beer as well.
I like Connor skating.
What's that?
I enjoy Connor skating.
Yeah, great skater.
Yeah.
Very, very naturally stylish skater. So my first experience on skates was borrowing Connor's skates and trying to skate his P rail. And my previous experience on skates was like, I think trying rollerblades once when I was 5 or 6 and hating it and not being able to skate with my friends or like keep up with them, or I was just falling. And I was like, oh, I can't rollerblade, and I don't play hockey, so I can't ice skate. And all my friends are hockey players, so they're like all good at skating, but like I don't play hockey, so I can't skate, sort of thing. So that's kind of what I felt like coming into seeing Connor skating his P-rail. And then I was trying his skates, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can actually stand up and like roll on skates, sort of thing. But it turned out that I could. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like I've never felt this like sensation of rolling around, and it feels like it's easier than I thought and whatnot. And then I was like, oh, I want to like, do a grind on the rail. And then I asked Connor, like, what's the first thing you did? Like, what's the first thing you learned on aggressive skates? And he's like, oh, you got to do a sole. So then I think I just tried to sole his rail, like the end of his rail, for a couple hours. And I think I did it in the end. And that was the deal of like the qualifier right there. I was like, okay, I need to get skates because I can actually skate. And I sold his rail. Like it's, yeah, that's sort of the origin, I guess.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild that little experience can take you so far down a road.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't thought about that memory in a long time, so it's weird. But yeah, that is the beginning, I think. And then yeah, like I still skate with Connor. He now lives in Whistler, which is not far from Vancouver, so I still skate with him at times. Yeah.
So where are we talking to you from? You're in Vancouver currently?
I live in Vancouver. Yeah.
Nice. You live with roommates, or you're just you there?
I live with my girlfriend. Yeah, she's away right now, so it's just me. But yeah, that's the setup. Yeah. I'm actually curious of where you two are.
So I'm in my room in Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
More specifically, like Lawndale. It's like South Bay, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in my apartment in San Francisco.
Cool. Okay. That was my guess was that you were in San Francisco and then Joey was in LA somewhere. So I was right. Cool.
That's it.
Nice.
So from this point of getting the P-rail, like, do you remember your first time filming for a video, like where you were like, okay, we're making this thing? Because you've been a part of so much at this point. Do you remember like the first thing maybe?
I remember the summer that I began skating, there was a contest at the end of the summer at a skate park where they had there was like a skateboarding comp and then BMX, and they had rollerblading as well.
Cool.
Surprisingly. And I remember like that whole event was filmed, and then there was a clip of me doing a sole on a ledge in the contest. And I think that's the first clip of me ever filmed. Is it on
YouTube somewhere?
I don't think it is. I think it was one of these like Facebook uploads that is buried somewhere on there. So I don't have Facebook, so I can't watch it. But yeah, I think that was the first time I was filmed, and it was filmed with a fisheye. And I thought that was
the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to be in front of a fisheye lens. It's still a weird thing, but yeah, I remember that being, that felt like a big deal. It's like, oh, I just got filmed with a fisheye.
Knock that one off the bucket list.
Yeah, I remember that as a kid, like being
Yeah.
the coolest thing ever. Like,
Yeah,
just-
even just seeing one in person was kind of cool.
Especially
but
early on.
yeah, definitely. And Danny, at that point, like Danny had been filming skating for years when I got into skating. Like, he'd already made like his own skate videos, like DVDs back in the day in the 2000s. So I think he had a DVX when I started skating, maybe. That's probably what it was filmed on, that edit. But yeah, so from there, in 2009, you're getting into the DSLR HD online edit era. And I think my brother Colin got a T2i and Danny got a 7D around then, maybe around 2010. And then they just started making edits together. So I guess the first footage like filmed would have been with those cameras, and then it would have gone on Vimeo or something.
That event that you attended and skated in, was that your first skate event? And that was the first summer you'd been skating?
Yeah, and that was a weird like one-off event that didn't happen again. And like I said, it was all the sports.
Yeah.
There's like skateboarding, BMX, and rollerblading, and then that didn't happen next summer or anything like that. That was just like this random kind of one-off. And then I didn't skate a contest after that for a long time. And I still really haven't skated many contests, but yeah, in terms of the filming thing, I've realized lately that a lot of the earliest footage of like me and my brother and our friends, and even like Danny from that era, it all kind of fell victim to the Vimeo purge that happened like 3-4 years ago, where they just like hid a bunch of content because you didn't have a pro account. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Some of my footage is gone forever.
Yeah, pretty interesting how that just happened. I don't feel like there was a warning, but
such a crazy platform that they promote, that they're for like the videographers and content and keeping it up forever, and then they're just like, it's old.
Yeah, Vimeo is really odd, and I still like, I somewhat get the appeal of it, and I know people still upload to it, but I don't know, it's not really, I don't ever go on Vimeo anymore, but I think there's certain people that just upload to Vimeo still, and they don't do YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like sometimes they like YouTube flag shit, but Vimeo won't. But like,
okay,
they might just delete your shit like randomly. It is what it is. Like,
yeah,
you better have backups, baby, because all that stuff is gone. There's so much sick skating that's probably just gone forever because of that like Vimeo purge.
Totally, and I feel like a lot of my earliest stuff is not on the internet anymore, and I don't even remember some of the stuff that was on there. So yeah,
I heard someone saying that to me once. They're like, yeah, anytime anything comes out, I just download it so I have it forever, no questions. I was like, wow, I thought that was extreme in the moment, but now I'm like, oh, stuff just like at least that guy has it.
Like stuff that they watch, or stuff that they upload.
Well, no, if they watch it, they're like, oh, I want this. Like, I don't want, if this ever goes away, and there are people that have those edits saved.
Right.
Yeah, because Vimeo had that option where you could just download it.
That's true. Yeah, it was easier than YouTube.
I think that's Oz.
He did do that for a while. One of our friends from New Jersey, Osbill Velez.
Shout out Oz. Sorry, I just had to make sure that
But yeah, he would. I think the one example was like the Quentin Lamb edit that was like on the internet for a while and then was deleted. When it went away, we were like, oh, it's gone. He's like, I got it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. What a weird phenomenon to have that happen, because there's all sorts of stuff you just forget existed on the internet,
and there's so much too over the years.
Like if your friend didn't download that edit, it's like the person that made that edit probably doesn't have it either.
In
So,
some cases, yeah, I know a lot of those
yeah,
SSM edits are all
yeah, exactly.
in the wind.
Yeah, mystical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you sponsored by anyone in skating? Like, do you have sponsors that you ride for, or like people that support your skating at all?
Um, I have, I mean, I feel like I have people that support my skating. Yes. I wouldn't say that I have a sponsor of any kind though.
In a way, it's different. I think like the idea of sponsoring and like getting supported for skating are kind of synonymous, but like people are like
Mhm.
they sound different, but I think they're like almost the same thing. Is
Yeah,
it
it's
people
just
are,
like formality.
yeah, people
Yeah.
want to keep, there are people that want to see you keep skating and doing things, and they're going to help you get those skates and different things that you need.
Mhm.
Who's helping you out? Who's
Yeah. Who's supporting you?
I mean, my family is helping me out. My family is very supportive. Um, but in terms of like skate companies or people in the industry, like I'm obviously very close friends with Leon Basson, who owns Shop Task. So he helps me out with certain stuff. And he has for a while, which is great. But there's nothing else going on. I used to get like Julio helped me out with a few pairs of skates just at the end of the Valo years, kind of like 2017, 18 or 16, 17, I guess. And then Sam Curry at Dirtbox was giving me wheels at one point, but then both of those companies went out of business in like 6 months, in a 6 month period. So
probably felt a little weird.
yeah,
that
no,
feeling.
yeah, no, it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, like I'm also like kind of surreal in a way. Like John Julio's like, oh, I appreciate your skating and I want you to ride our skates. That's like very cool. And then all of a sudden it goes away. It's got to be a little
Yeah,
bit of a weird whirlwind.
yeah, a little bit. I think I sort of it was sort of not, it wasn't obvious that Vala was on the way out, but there was a little bit of like buzz around things are not great and like this is like something is unsustainable here. I don't know. And then just like knowing people that were skating for Valo and hanging out with them, it was like, oh, there's not like as much happening here as I thought in a way. Um, but it was still great to kind of be a part of that for a little bit.
Yeah, it was cool to see you in
Yeah, because you got to go to
Valo
like
6.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Valo 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun for sure. That was a great time. That was that the first time I hung out with Visugi? Or no, that was the second time I hung out with Visugi. But yeah, like that was definitely like I haven't gone on a trip like that before where there's like a bunch of people that that are not my best friends on a skate trip, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
yeah, and it was also probably the most foreign feeling place I've been to was going to Mexico. Yeah.
Because where in Mexico did you guys go?
We went to Tijuana, which is
Okay.
just
Yeah.
over the border.
Yeah.
Yeah, a notorious place. And we also went to a little city called Ensenada, which is just south from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. But it was very interesting experience.
You have one of my favorite tricks from the whole video in that little part.
Wow.
Yeah, that zero bash to zero wall ride.
Yeah.
Is legitimately incredible.
Nice.
Yeah, you keep it like it's so tucked the entire time.
Well, that's a high compliment because there's a lot of clips in that video. So thank you.
There's a lot of, but it is like legitimately the most memorable for me. I don't know. That one is so sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with how that one turned out for sure. That's a trick that I feel like doing the bling thing off the first stair. I'm really not good at that on anti. Like I could do it much easier skating flat, but I can't do those anymore.
There's like a weird flick that you get when you're riding flat that I don't think you'd get it. It would be more like a scrape anti-rocker.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kind of catches you. But yeah, that was a weird, skating downtown Tijuana. There's all kinds of interesting, weird stuff happening while we're filming.
It seemed cutty.
Yeah, very cutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, like checking your shoulder kind of stuff.
Not always the best feeling.
Yeah. Have either of you been to Mexico to skate at all?
Not to
Never to
skate.
skate.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems cool. It's not far. People talk about it People talk about it more.
Yeah.
Like so much that you'd think we would go, but nobody ever ends up going.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's only like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, almost from my house.
Mm-hmm.
And it is probably great that you guys had Yvonne with you. He seems like a really good tour guide when you go down.
I was gonna say, like, we just needed Yvonne for that trip. Like, I mean, he drove, and then he can talk to everyone down there. He knows how to deal with cops, sort of thing. He knows where to go and not to go, what's sketchy and what's not sketchy to do in a foreign country. So
yeah, and I'm not the type of person to just run down there without a guy like that.
Yeah, neither am I. Yeah, no, that was definitely needed. Yeah.
So what are there were there events like you mentioned earlier that you haven't skated many contests, and I was thinking, I'm like, are there a lot of contests where you grew up, or like even in Vancouver in general, are there like yearly events or anything like that?
There's not anymore. There's almost no contests in Canada these days. Like, there's one that happens in Edmonton, which is not that close to Vancouver. There's like that event happening called, I think it's called Shredmonton, that happens every summer. But besides that, like, there's no more Montreal Classic, obviously. And then I don't think there's any contest in Toronto, and there's no more popularity contests in Vancouver. Those all sort of fizzled out when I got into skating. Like Montreal Classic, I think the last year was 2009, maybe. And
Did
then
you happen to attend?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I've never been to Montreal, actually, but there was, I forget the name of the contest in Toronto that used to happen, but that also stopped like around 2010, 2011, I think. So there just aren't events to go to, really. And then I wasn't in a place where, or like financially to go, I couldn't just go to the States to go to an event like Bitter Cold or something like that. Wasn't really in the cards. But the first time I went to like a big skate event was Blading Cup in 2015. I think 2015. Yeah.
Was that the year you went down to Mexico too?
That was 2 years before Mexico. Mexico was 2017.
Okay.
It's the last time I was in California. And yeah, the 2015 Blading Cup was, so I had moved to Vancouver in 2015 in the spring. And then later that year, like November, was Blading Cup, my first time in California. I went down with Taylor Ritchie, just the two of us. Didn't really have a plan. And that was fun. But I'd never been to an event anywhere like anything like that one, like with all these people, and there's like a trade show and whatnot. So that was interesting. Meeting other skaters was cool.
So how long that was 2015. So you'd been skating for about 6 years before you went to like a first like big, I'd say it's a major event. About 6 years, something like that. Yeah. You've gone to New York City as well, right?
Yes, I went to the Bashi contest in 2018.
Was that the year that it opened up all crazy?
I think so.
Yeah, there was some serious violence before the event that year. It was intense.
Yeah, that was well put.
You were there, Joey. Yeah.
Yes, I was definitely there, dude.
Yeah, we were all there.
You were there too? Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was my first taste in New York, I guess.
I always think of that too. I'm like, there's probably so many people here that they're like, this is like, we're gonna go to this thing, it's gonna be great. And it was like this melee event, but I mean, they moved on from that relatively quickly, which was good.
They did. It was like it never happened after. Like the contest was funny. It was great. Danny skated hard in it. Yeah, I had fun. I had fun at that event, just watching everything. Yeah. Yeah.
It is a good time, New York City events, especially as like a spectator.
Yes. Yeah. I wish to return at some point.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
go to another Bashi?
I just want to go to New York. I mean, yeah, I'll go to a Bashi if there's a Bashi, but I'm just trying to skate New York again.
Yeah, skating in New York is like it's a different energy. It's really fun.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like, yeah, it's like people talk about, you go there and you, no matter how much time you spend skating there, you just, you've only scratched the surface with what you can go to. And yeah.
Yeah, you can spend years. Like it's impossible to get it all. Like, yeah, it's yeah. I was just actually. I'm hoping to get back pretty soon too.
Nice.
That's pretty wild to think about, huh? You could like live in New York your whole life, in the city you're like trying to hit every spot, but the city's basically just morphing around you constantly. So there's new stuff and things go away, and that's pretty wild.
Yeah, spots pop up, spots change, spots disappear all the time. Yeah,
like just the thought process of skating changes. So like spots open up and like kind of disappear based on like mentality as well, which is kind of interesting.
Right.
And then like, yeah, revisiting old spots because mentality has changed again is pretty interesting. Well,
there's like this cycle of like, oh, this spot's interesting and now it's played out, and oh, now people skate different, so it's interesting again, and oh, now it's played out again, and yeah, something like that. I can see that.
So was that was your one and only time visit to New York City so far?
It was, yeah. So we went to the Bashi event, myself, Danny, and my brother Colin, and we met Vasugi there. And we skated for, I think, like 4 days after the contest.
What was the video you guys made called? What came out of that?
It's called Certified Banger.
Certified Banger. That was great. That was a good time in video.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, I like watching that edit. But yeah, that was filmed in like the days after Bashi sort of thing. Yeah, very, very hot weather for myself. Very humid. Yeah. It was like 100 every day. Yeah.
You do is it a backside set slide that you do like a whole patch of curb way? Or am I thinking of like a different trick that you do a whole pad?
I do a toe roll over a road, like across a road in that, and then I slide into a wall on the road.
Off the toe roll, right?
It's like the porn like citric acid, right?
Yeah, that one.
Oh,
I think that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you like let go and then like pop into the wall. Yeah, that one's fun.
I think that's my favorite trick that I did in New York, maybe. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, the rhythm on that one was like perfect. Like just everything was great.
Yeah, I'm surprised it worked out, but we got a bunch of stuff at that little spot. It's also where Danny, like you can see in the edit where he hits his ribs, like that fall. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, he flies into the scaffolding.
Yeah, it's at that same spot.
So that kind of chilled you guys out there for a minute. Was that like something that happened? You were like, all right, let's just cool it.
Yeah, I don't remember if I did the toe roll before that happened or after, but it was like pretty intense. And that also was a big dynamic in that trip because I think Danny hit his ribs maybe the first or second day that we were filming. So then he was more or less out of commission after that. And I think he was walking around with us after that. Like he wasn't really able to skate even. So, and it was just like hard, like to see Danny in that kind of state. And it was like, we're all just here. And Danny just had this terrible injury. He can't skate how he wants to. Yeah, and like he's also filming as well, like skating around to film. But
injuries on a skate trip really change the whole vibe.
They do. Yeah. That was not a That was not a nice injury at all.
No, the ribs like really will take you out.
Really bad.
Like,
Yeah. Poor guy. He's better now though.
he's all right. Yeah.
He's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, he lived another day.
He did. Yeah.
So Leon supports you through Shop Task, and what other company did you mention? Dirtbox was
Your box. Yeah. Yeah, that's just kind of piggybacking off Danny, because Danny was skating dirt box for some years, like getting wheels and stuff from Sam and clothes. He made an edit or two for Dirtbox, and then yeah, Sam just was like, "Oh, you should make something with Stu," and then yeah, Sam started sending me wheels, and I made the little park edit for Dirtbox. And yeah, Dirtbox did not last too much longer after that, but yeah, that's a interesting company to somewhat be affiliated with, because they made a lot of stuff.
it was cool looking stuff.
Yeah, they made like a lot of nice clothing, but in terms of the media they made too, like the whole like Harry and Scott era of edits that they put out in that period of time. There's so much of it. And then yeah, but like once I kind of became affiliated with Dirtbox, it was like on its way out, which is fine because I think Muzzle's cool, but yeah.
Yeah, but there was something special about those, like that Harry and Scott like just murdering of miniature spots. It was just amazing.
Just making so much content.
Yeah.
It's wild in retrospect. Yeah.
Would you say you pulled a lot of inspiration from those guys? Like, I feel like your style of skating's intricate in its own way, similar to theirs. Is that something you focus on?
Definitely not something I focus on, but maybe I have taken influence from them. I'm sure I have. Yeah, I've watched a lot of their stuff from like early. Like I remember when the DRC stuff was pretty new that they were putting out. And it was like a bunch of people affiliated with DRC, and I didn't know what DRC stood for or where these people lived, and I didn't know who any of them were, but I just know that I was like, oh, they're skating and how they're filming.
The skating's good.
Yeah. And then there's like I don't know, they kind of, things just went in different directions for a bunch of them. And then yeah, Harry and Scott did a lot of cool stuff after that. They still are. Yeah.
It's always interesting to hear like different skaters who they particularly like to pay attention to, or like some things that you like different people appreciate. Like when Michael Briggs told us that he thought Brian Aragon was his favorite skater of all time, I was like, well, I didn't expect that answer, but
respect. I mean, I don't know if my answer would be so different, but
Brian Aragon, he's the GOAT for you.
I don't know if he's the GOAT, but like I have a lot of respect for Brian Aragon, I gotta say. Yeah,
he's got his own skate park.
He's got his own skate park. Like, that's almost impossible to top right there.
Yeah.
I can't wait to skate there sometime. Me and Danny have been trying to go there for a long time. We've been talking about it. We got to hit up Aragon Skate Park. Have you guys skated Brian Aragon Skate Park before?
I haven't had the pleasure. Have you, Taylor? No,
I haven't either.
Damn. Next time I'm in Denver, I'll definitely hit it up for you.
Yeah, it's going down for sure.
Yeah.
Aragon is, I have a lot of respect for Brian Aragon and like the figure that he was in skating. I feel like he's just like this weird, he's like, he just happened to choose skating, but he could have probably been a professional athlete in a lot of other sports.
Yes.
What's he doing now? Is he fishing too, or is golf? He has
I think he's fishing. I think he's fishing.
He's into fishing. He's into snowboarding a lot as well.
Yeah.
Probably golf. Yeah.
Yeah, fits those categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Aragon's he's an incredible athlete. I mean, everything he's done,
Yeah, we got pretty lucky with that
Yeah.
one.
I think about Brian Aragon as an athlete and not a skater. Like that guy's an athlete.
Oh, for sure.
And he just treated skating like a sport. And I don't know, I just find that, and he just went as far as he could with it, you know? And then, yeah, he's a legend.
Do you look at skating in some people and see that they're like, look at them as like athlete skaters and then like artist skaters?
I don't know if it's that kind of black and white, but there's something there, you know? I mean, there's like the typical, I mean, you can even do like Europe, America kind of like dynamic with like, there's comp skaters and then there's street skaters or like that kind of thing. I don't know if it's athlete and artist, but yeah, there's definitely
or creative skating or creative skating versus athletic skating. Like there's you could say that there's like a difference in those two things. Like, oh, that was a creative trick and that was a very athletic trick.
Yes, there's definitely a distinction there. I agree. Yeah.
I guess that's more what I'm getting at. It's like,
yeah.
Some people, I think, like you said, Aragon was focusing more on the athleticism in skating. And then there are people that I'd say like Farmer, for example, is like a freak of nature for an athlete. Like he's an absolute athlete as well, but in a sense, a little more creative, I think, or I'd say, yeah, I'd stand by that. He's more creative.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would stand by that. And it's like, yeah, some people would see them both as athletes, but some people see them, like how you said, very different. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny how, and there's like people can be one of those and then morph into the other or vice versa. Or even like jump back and forth between the two. It's like you start out as like, you think about skating as a sport and you're interested in contests and you want to replicate tricks that you see people doing in contests and you want to like impress judges at a contest, and that's how you want to get sponsors, kind of thing.
Do the tricks that the winners do.
You do the tricks that the winners do. Exactly. Yeah. And then you can see those skaters like get really disinterested in doing that over time, and then they just realize like, oh, I'd rather be street skating and doing artist skating or creative skating. Artist skating. I like the artist skating lingo. That's good. I haven't thought about it before like that. Artist. Yeah. Skate artist.
I guess I've grown up on the East Coast. We watch a lot of like, I have a younger brother too. So the Kelso brothers, I'd always listen to Colin and be like, he's like always talking about artistic skating style. I was like, okay, that's important. He's saying it all the time. Yeah.
Damn. Like I was out skating today with Danny, and we were talking about wheels, and I was saying like, what happened to street artist? Like when I started skating, like street artist was the company for wheels. And I think the name is great. I think it's really funny, but it didn't last. But I guess that is sort of,
it's dead, right?
But like that name sort of just stems from that idea that you're talking about, or that sort of embodiment of skating.
Yeah, that's probably why I have that in my head too.
Street artist. I like that. But yeah.
What would you consider yourself? A street artist or a athlete?
A street artist or an athlete? I don't think I'm an athlete. I definitely don't think that I'm an athlete at all.
Athletic.
Thanks. I think it's like you can be athletic, but it doesn't mean you're an athlete. Maybe because I don't compete in any way. I think you need to maybe compete if you want to be an athlete or see yourself as an athlete. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I guess, but like also I think about like compete, like mountain climbing isn't like a competition. Like, I mean, I guess there are mountain climbing contests, but it's just like things that they do that are impressive to people that understand what they're doing.
Right. There is sort of like, I mean, yeah, I don't know specifically about that example, but there's all these sports where it's like it doesn't look like there's any sort of contest or like formal grading criteria for what distinguishes good from bad or like better from worse.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you have like I know in rock climbing, for example, you have like, oh, this line is rated as being like whatever, like a 7 out of 10 difficulty
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. And it's like, oh, only so many people can do that. And it's like, oh, if you can do that, then you're this, like you're this level if you can do this line sort of thing. So there's like quantitative stuff in there. But I feel like skating, there's not any kind of thing like that.
Well, we have like his ability to switch in regular, like your control over most of what you're doing. Like there are these nuanced things that like, and then if you watch a contest, like are those things, are
Yeah.
those controlled aspects, are they going to help you win, or is it the guy that's going to do the craziest quote unquote trick?
Yeah. I mean, who's sitting at the judges table that day? That's kind of the bottom line. Who's judging the contest? Yeah. Because I think there's like a very broad spectrum of what you can judge in skating.
I think
For sure.
Danny's definitely nailing that both category pretty well, though. Now that we're like talking about it, I'm like, well, he's basically doing both things because it's incredibly athletic what he's doing. Some of the bending.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very athletic guy.
Yeah. He's a pretty athletic street artist.
He is an athletic street artist. That's a pretty good description of Danny. Yeah.
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 So
Very strong guy.
what motivates you to skate in general? Is it just like for the pure enjoyment?
Motivates me to skate. I think it's, it's partially like it's addiction. I've been doing it for long enough period of time where it is partially therapeutic, no matter what, even if I don't think about it that way. Like skating helps me feel normal if I'm doing it. If I'm not doing it, then there's something is off. You know what I mean? So maybe subliminally that's a bit of the motivation, but I really just like to be in different places all the time. And being into skating conveniently does that for you, because we're always finding ourselves in these very obscure parts of the city that you would have no other reason to go to unless you were into this type of activity, So I enjoy that a lot. It's like, oh, like I went skating today, but I was also like in this part of the city that I don't go to very often, or have no other reason to go there. But
the one time that we got to skate in Vancouver, we ended up at the beach. It was fucking awesome. Like,
oh yeah. There you go.
Like
Kids Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
That's just, I don't know. That's pretty awesome. Like skating just pulls you to these awesome places. Like
it does, and I feel like I've seen more of the city. I feel like I've seen more of Vancouver than a lot of people that are my age and they're from Vancouver, even because I just go to random neighborhoods or parks that other people don't need to go to at all.
Is there a big skateboarding culture in Vancouver at all?
Yeah, I would say. I don't know if it's the biggest like skateboarding hub in Canada. It probably is, because the climate here is a lot milder than the rest of the country. So there's a lot of people, like you can skate year round pretty well. So there's a lot of people that skateboard here. There's a good infrastructure for skateboarding. There's a lot of skateboarding history in Vancouver, companies, skate shops, things like that. So yeah, there's skaters everywhere all the time.
How's their relationship with rollerblades? Is it like just kind of, is there like any beef or anything like that, or is it just kind of like a nothing issue?
I mean, I don't really perceive anything, but I don't, like, to be honest, I don't really, like, I'm not often around skateboarders unless I go to a skate park in the middle of the day on a nice day. Like if I'm not doing that, then I'm not really ever around skateboarders, so to speak. Like you don't run into them so much at spots.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like if you go to the skate park when it's busy, or like you go in the afternoon or something, then there's going to be skateboarders, but that's it. And I've never had issues with skateboarders ever in Vancouver.
Ever, like in your whole career of rollerblading?
Not something that I feel like would be occurring because of equipment, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had like interpersonal stuff, but it's not because of like you're
what
this,
you're choosing to put on, like the type of wheels you're using. It had no bearing on the situation.
I don't think so. No.
But
that's fucking awesome.
Was it like wax that you get into it with a guy over? Like you got into it with someone over something?
I've never gotten into it with people about wax, but I've seen that happen a little bit. I don't really wax stuff that much, and I don't really see. Yeah, I don't really ever feel like I need to at a skate park either. I guess I've seen the topic come up at the skate park, like, where's this wax coming from, sort of thing, or like, what's going on here, which is valid. Like, I'm not into like going to the skate park and then you leave it in a different state than it was in when you got there. So it's like, because there's obviously people that like to go to the skate park, and not even like a bowl or something, even just like a plaza, is that you don't need to wax stuff. Like, it's fine, just just skate. It's not really going to help you. That's honestly how I feel. Like, I just don't.
It'll help you slide if you want to slide.
I mean,
it does help with that.
Yeah, it depends what you want to skate, I guess.
True. This kind of brings up something Sugi was saying to me. He was like, he described your skating as militant. He said you would go to a skate park and do a 180 as many times, just practicing the like whatever kind of precision you were looking for. Is that accurate? I've never skated with you like at a skate park, I don't think.
No.
Are you a big practicer, or like do you consider yourself?
I don't think I am. Interesting that John would say that, because if I said yes, I would only be talking about when I'm skating by myself, so he wouldn't know. But
so you do?
Yeah, I think like if I'm, what's that?
So you do practice when you're by yourself?
I don't know. I think I had a conversation about this with Leon recently, where is like the pattern of skating that you find yourself in when you skate with people versus by yourself is always different. And yeah, I think at a session, I'm not necessarily doing repetition of stuff. Maybe I am if I'm trying to like get a trick in particular, but if I'm trying to learn something, I mean, I don't even really approach it that way either. Like, I don't set out to learn stuff either. So, but at a session, it's like, you're just going to go through like your bag of tricks in a way, and maybe kind of feed off what other people are doing and what other people are skating. But when you're by yourself, it's like, yeah, you kind of, there's like a little bit of like the no eyes sort of deal, where it's like no one's like watching you, so you're going to do slightly different stuff. Maybe you're going to get into some repetition or figure out how to do something better. I don't feel like I do that so often though. Militant, I think like any kind of militance in skating comes from while you're filming, maybe, at least for me. It's like if I'm trying to film something, that's when I'm going to be doing it over and over and over until it feels.
Do you think that's what he's describing?
Maybe that's probably
like your filming process is militant. Are you picky when it comes to what you allow to see the surface?
I think less so than ever, but still, yes. Yeah.
Is that maybe just because you've got it to where you like what it's looking like?
Through
like years of practicing like that, and now you're like, you know what you're trying to do, and when you do it, it's like it's over.
Maybe, yeah. Or I just know my limits more so. I'm not interested in wasting time trying to like luckily land something, if that makes sense.
For sure.
You know, I just, yeah. I don't like spending a bunch of time doing one thing that I could have maybe done first try or second try. It's like if I'm half an hour into that, I'm not having fun anymore, you know?
Yeah, once that the fun is gone, I
Yeah.
try to call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once it's like you skating and everyone else is like sitting down and they're looking bored, it's like, okay, no, this is done. This is not.
Moments passed.
People didn't sign up for this. Yeah. It's got to be like a constant impulsive element to it, I feel.
So that's sweat or not sweaty, the Mizu and Expressor. Like, did you see that and you were like, I'm gonna Mizu off this big white ledge, or?
Yeah. I saw it. We drove past that ledge and I was like, oh wow, I want to skate that. And then it was like already it'd been skated before by people, so it was like slid really nice. And I was like, okay, so people skate it, you can do it. And then we came back a couple days later and I was like, yeah, I wanted to do Mizu on this. And then
bold choice. I like it.
I did a Mizu on it. Yeah. I did 2 Mizus on it. And that's it. Yeah. It slid really nice, but we got kicked out.
Oh, nice.
So.
You were able to get that off. Were you like getting kicked out, or you had just gotten kicked out after you did it?
It was like during the second attempt, there was a woman being like, you can't be at this church. I'm calling the police, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, Danny, you ready? And then, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a big trick.
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
was a happy boy. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I love a good Mizu. I gotta say, I really like to do Mizus. Yeah. And if you guys don't like doing Mizus, then we can't be friends.
I love Mizus, dude, especially negative Mizus. I think they're hilarious. I'm trying to bring them back, and I feel like you have a pretty mean negative Mizu, don't you?
Well, yeah, you do.
Me?
Yeah. Don't you have a pretty deep one?
Have I done a negative Mizu?
I have to pee so bad, boys. I'll be right back.
I've seen that.
I don't recall ever filming one, but maybe. I've definitely done negative mistrials, but negative Mizu is very different than Mizu. Everything about it, like, it's just a completely different feeling.
The hip position's completely
the hip
over.
It's like an innie trick and a Mizu's an outie trick, and your knee is vulnerable. Yeah. Danny has a good negative Mizu though, I'll say. Very good.
Maybe there have been a couple people. I don't know if you're familiar with Julian Garcia. He's got a pretty deep one as well.
Yeah.
From Atlanta.
Yeah, I know Julian Garcia. Yeah, he's a very flexible guy.
Definitely.
Yeah, he does all kinds of interesting slides. Yeah. But yeah, that was that spot is in Victoria. So a good bit of my Expressor edit is filmed in Victoria, which is small city on Vancouver Island. Takes a few hours to get to from Vancouver. Take a ferry to get there.
Dude, does the scenery in that city look kind of vastly different than Vancouver? Is it because that spot didn't look like a city spot, the church specifically?
Yeah, architecturally it's quite different. There's a lot of original infrastructure from like early 20th century in Victoria. A lot of older buildings, and like there's like the brick alley line that I have is in Victoria.
Some of that stuff, I was like, when I was seeing that, I was like, this doesn't look like a Vancouver city, because that's more of a modern city. It looks more modern on footage. Yeah,
no, and it sort of, it is in a lot of ways, but that's what I like about Victoria, is that it does look different in footage, even though it's like same weather there and it's not far away. It's like, it just looks kind of striking compared to here. Like downtown Victoria is nothing like downtown Vancouver at all. Yeah.
What inspired you to even make Expressor? You just kind of feeling skating it in the or like was there you just kind of started and it happened organically? I think we touched about this in the beginning, but
yeah, I don't think there was any real like motivation there. I mean, Danny got a new camera. That was kind of the biggest thing, I guess. It was like, oh, there's a new camera to use now. We kind of
well make something sick.
Yeah, exactly. Like figure out how to use this thing. And there'd been a little bit of like fooling around with figuring out like what camera Danny was going to get and then what setup to have. Do we want 2 cameras or 1 and all this stuff. So there was a period of time where we definitely didn't film on a camcorder for like a while after Calls from the Bank, because Calls from the Bank was filmed on DVX. And then after that, we were like, okay, we're done with the DVX, but like, what should we do now? Like, we've already done a bunch of HD things with the Extreme and also with the Sentry, like 0.3. So then it was like, okay, now we've done SD video, and then Danny is like, okay, I want to do something different. So I think the new camera was sort of what sparked that to happen.
Do you know by chance what camera it is?
I don't know what the model is. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, just if you happen to know.
Yeah, I don't. It's like Panasonic. So yeah, that's all that I know about it. I'm not that like proficient with camera stuff, but I can film with it, which is nice. Like it's not super different from using older cameras we have. Like the body is very similar, and like the zoom is nice on it. Good handle for fisheye. So yeah.
So are you filming Danny? Is that like mostly?
Yeah, we film each other kind of
okay, cool.
all the time. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, that's how it's been. My brother Colin also would film a lot, and he's an excellent filmer. So there used to be like, yeah, me, Danny, and Colin all filming each other. So it was kind of nice because you could have like 2 angles for stuff.
That's always great when
yeah,
everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that like a common crew you could see rolling around, you, your brother, and Danny? Is it like and then who else like what we see in the mix?
Yeah, well, my brother Colin, he doesn't live in Vancouver anymore. He moved to London about 1.5 years ago. So the crew, like right now, it's basically normally Danny, Louis Packham, me, Devin Stewart, Jacob Schwinghammer. It's like that's the 5 of us that skate. Yeah. Occasionally we skate with other people, but it's not super frequent. Yeah.
What are you saying? Solid crew though.
Yeah.
That's a real solid crew.
Yeah, 5 people is 4 or 5. I mean, it's usually only 3 or 4 people out, but it's good.
Yeah. I mean, even in any city, there's only like 5 or 6 guys that how many people are you going to hang out with in general?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
We run deep.
Yeah. You guys are like crazy deep.
Yeah. I can see that.
It's
probably so
it could be a little chaotic. Yeah.
You're all driving around, following each other, getting lost.
Oh yeah. It's so fucking chaotic.
Yeah.
Damn. Like 20 people at a session?
A dozen probably.
A dozen, biggest dozen sometimes. Yeah, it's like not that uncommon for like a Saturday.
Anytime I show up to a session like that, I'm like, oh shit, it's one of these days.
Yeah.
Right.
You just got to choose the right spot. Like as long as like there's not too much driving around, like it's all right.
Yeah. That's a big one. It's another thing I like about here is you don't need to drive so much.
No. Do you have a car there?
No.
Nice.
I just bike everywhere.
Is it good public transportation as well in Vancouver?
Very good. Yeah. I don't use it right now though. it's a weird thing to use, I feel like, during what's going on, especially getting on a bus.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on that. How is COVID in Vancouver?
Um, I think it's not as good as other parts of Canada, just because like where we are is kind of a nicer climate. So like now it's spring and there's a lot more of like outdoor stuff happening. So there's more mingling going on, and it seems like BC isn't doing as well as the rest of Canada is with COVID. So there's like certain restrictions in place, and then they're talking about leaving some restrictions longer than other parts of Canada are, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because of how the weather is here. Really, it's just warmer. We get spring before most of Canada. So, but I mean, there's still like not everything is open, but there don't seem to be a lot of barriers for what you can do right now. Like you're not supposed to go to other people's houses, like in other people's houses, but you can go to a restaurant still. You can hang out with people outside. You're not supposed to do like big groups or anything. And like, you gotta, like, masks are mandatory inside, of course, but there's no like, oh, I can't use this like service, or I can't go to this place or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We're still on that.
Okay. Yeah. I am curious about what's going on down there.
Like certain facilities, I know like gyms are maybe open now to like limited capacities, but certain things are still not allowed to, like, there's no like venues open, certain things like that. They're not having any shows, but like in other parts of America, there are like things happening and shows are going on.
Definitely no shows here or venues. That's one thing. But yeah, everything else seems to be like, anything that's not entertainment is sort of happening, like not at a normal level, obviously, but it's
wild time.
Okay. Yeah, skating is a great thing to be into right now.
Did you skate early during the pandemic? Like, did you guys like have a lockdown and then you guys went out and skated at all?
Yeah,
because it was pretty
like
unique.
We had a pseudo lockdown last March, April. We still skated around then. I think that was more like businesses were closed. And like everything just kind of halted, but it's like you could still go outside and get exercise, and skating qualifies for that. So there was no period where it's like, oh, we can't skate. There's none of that. Like, I know that was the deal, and it seemed like that was the deal in Australia. It was like, you really can't go out for X number of months to like skate with people, but it was here. Yeah.
But did you experience like the dead city?
Oh yeah.
Like
definitely.
Yeah, that was pretty unique. Like
going to the busiest parts of downtown and like the rougher parts of downtown last spring was really eye-opening. Yeah, just seeing like no people in those areas. Yeah. And
you guys get to hit anything unique there, or like, oh, that was before you guys had the camera, so
yeah, I guess we weren't really filming. No, we weren't filming much last spring. We just put out calls from the bank in March, and there's sort of there's a gap there between filming stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, it was so weird here. I mean, like when we had just got the new camera in our crew, and we were like, then the whole city halted, and everyone just kind of like looked down the hills, and there were no cars moving anywhere. And we were like, oh my God, this is like, we'll never get to do this again.
Optimal right there. Yeah. Yeah. The traffic is definitely a thing. It's nice having less traffic than normal.
Yeah, even now, it's kind of back to normal, but it's still less than I think like it used to be.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the same here. It's like there is a rush hour, so to speak, but it's nowhere near what it was.
Is
We're
it
back
like,
to normal.
is like
Yeah.
Vancouver, did it feel kind of like there was like a hustle and bustle in that city before this, and now it's kind of like gone? That's
A little bit, and a lot of it is more the lack of tourism, especially last summer,
mm,
where it's like, oh, I'm seeing like this is downtown Vancouver, but it's residents only version. If that makes sense. Like, oh, there's no cruise ships coming in, there's no people flying in from anywhere to see the city. So it's like I'm seeing, it's like this is how many people actually live here, which is kind of neat. It's like this looks more appropriate. It's like based on how much infrastructure is in this city and how big this city is. It's like, okay, yes, this is how many people live here. There's not all these extra heads walking around from all over the world.
that make it seem impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious if it'll be, I mean, I'm sure it will be like that this year too, but that is, yeah, that was like a pretty drastic thing. And I feel like, yeah, street skating is different with less people around, especially in the summer.
Mm.
Like Victoria as well, where we went last summer. Victoria is a huge tourist destination, and they have like all kinds of like tourist trap businesses and destinations right downtown by the water in the harbor. And last year it's like, oh no, it's like a free for all that you can just go skate anything, and there's no like traffic, there's no people walking around. Yeah, so that was nice.
Yeah, even I keep forgetting that people walking around, that used to be like a huge problem that a lot of us aren't really dealing with anymore.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like just waiting for people walking.
Yeah.
Slow groups scandering
Yeah.
around,
That's
just like, oh, I don't know what's going on today.
That's a huge part of filming skating, is just waiting for the public. It really is.
Yeah, we're really not trying to hurt anyone.
No,
Really trying not to.
no, I don't want to hurt anybody. That's true.
Yeah. If we could avoid that, it'd be great.
Mhm. Yeah, I was like, we were skating today and just skating a spot that intersects with a bike, or I guess a bike way slash walkway. So like between attempts, there's like, you know, a good few minutes of just like waiting and then like checking to see, is there a runner coming? Is there a cyclist coming? Is there a couple walking? And then, you know, it's just like, it's just how it is. You can't do anything about it. But yeah.
At least you're courteous enough to like check both ways, because I know some people that just don't look. They just fucking go for it.
And I mean, that's maybe a more efficient way to do it, but that's a weird one, because there's definitely a lot of people like that just don't really have any regard or just care like of what else is going on in the vicinity, and maybe they just block it out sort of thing. But for me, and like for a lot of my friends, it's like you gotta know what's going on, and you can't focus on what you're trying to do unless you know if someone's around the corner, there's a car coming, all that stuff. Yeah,
I'm in the same boat as you, but there's definitely people that just fucking send it for all willy nilly.
Yeah, it's wild, especially with just doing tricks into roads and like into traffic and stuff. I've never been able to I don't like being around that sort of thing. Yeah,
I'm not super about it.
No.
Yeah,
I understand it though. Like I understand where that comes from a little bit. Like it's exciting, but
it's just so unnecessary.
Too high of a cost.
Yeah, and then people have made that mistake, and that's I don't think anyone needs to make that mistake.
No, not again.
No.
So,
no.
Yeah.
Unless I fully trust the boys and it's like really worth it, like probably gonna stay away from the street line, things like that. Yeah, the old T-bone steak. No, I'm good.
No, collisions are not nice. I've all been there.
So how often do you skate now?
How often do I skate? It's a tough question. I feel like it's very inconsistent and random. I could have a like month period where I skate like 15 times, or I could have a month where I skate like twice. So,
Hmm.
but lately, definitely a few times a week, I think. So weather's getting better here. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of other stuff going on that's preventing me from skating. So I would say like a few times a week. And yeah, there's usually someone that's down to skate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we're coming up on skate season. If
We
you
are.
live in a place that does get warmer, this is the time of year.
It is. Yeah. Taylor, I'm curious because I don't actually know where you're from originally.
I'm from New Jersey, small town New
Gotcha.
Jersey.
Okay.
That's how I know Joey. He's from Long Island, and we would meet in New York City.
Okay.
And then we both have come to California, and we
Okay.
continued what we were doing
So,
before.
so you guys know about winter.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
I was actually gonna ask you about that.
That's good.
Do you ski or snowboard?
It's funny. I've gone skiing 3 times this year. And that's after a 7-year hiatus from skiing. I hadn't skied since 2014, but this year I got some secondhand equipment and I've been up a couple times. Yeah.
Nice. What are you rocking? What kind of skis you got?
I have some the brand is called Surface. They're twin tip skis, so I can ride switch on them.
There you go.
Skiing just means backwards.
That's correct. Yeah, riding switch doesn't really make sense, but I've enjoyed doing that a little bit. Danny skis quite a bit more than me. He skis every year, and Louis has also gotten into skiing. So, and
cool.
yeah, there are 3 ski resorts that are technically in the city boundary of Vancouver on the North Shore. So there's good options for skiing. Very easy to get to. Yeah. So I've done
Awesome.
that.
And it's motivating when the boys are going as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We went last Monday and we went night skiing, which is a very different thing. Yeah. Yeah, night skiing is quite a rush, I have to say. Yeah.
Just straight ice. Let's go.
Yeah. There's something about, if you think about your terrain, like, you know how it is to skate at night, where it's like, it's just harder to skate at night because you just can't see. And like the terrain is the same, but you just can't see it as well. And you have to light stuff properly, or you can't film somewhere because it's not lit, kind of thing. And yeah, sure, it's the same with skiing, but there's something about when you have snow that has lighting on it, like artificial lighting, not natural lighting. You get all these shadows that show you like how the snow is in front of you. So you kind of like, you actually get a better picture of the terrain you're on at night in a way.
It can do that.
It can do that. I guess it's not how it always is, but
yeah, that's
how it was when I went last time, and it was really
fucking
fun.
Awesome. It's so much fun when you can like actually see like the little craters and stuff.
Yeah.
Night skiing can be like incredibly fun.
Yeah. So do you have you skied a lot, Joey?
I ski and snowboard. I grew up snowboarding, but I learned to ski a couple of years ago, probably like 6 years ago. I learned how to ski.
Mm-hmm.
So now I do them both like evenly, like probably like between like 5 and 20 days a year.
Right. Where do you go if you're living?
So the closest mountain to me would be Bear, like Big Bear.
Okay.
I mean, technically, like Mountain High is the closest, but I would normally go to Bear, which is about 2.5 hours away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not too crazy.
Right.
But it seems like you're much closer than that. Like,
yeah, you can drive to a ski resort in 30 minutes from my house.
Whoa!
I can see it. Like
cool.
I can see the ski hill right like out my window. It's the lights. But yeah.
That's so
It's a
sick.
big ski city for sure. But it's interesting that you snowboard and you ski. I feel like that's
He learned
uncommon.
to ski because he was you were teaching skiing, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long story short, I was teaching skiing and snowboarding at a like adaptive program is what you would call it. Basically to students with different disabilities.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And the program that I was working at made me learn how to ski.
That's great.
Yeah. So now I know how to ski.
Nice. You get paid to learn how to ski kind of thing?
It was like more of like an internship through
Gotcha.
that program.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's great nonetheless. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I ski and it's pretty fun. I actually watched it, a lot of it, but I don't ski that well.
Mm. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you would envision would cross over like fluidly from skating, like getting on a rail, for example.
Doesn't happen that easily.
No. Yeah, there's like, yeah, it's like thinking about skating if you're not allowed to use your ankles, sort of thing. That's how I think about ski boots. It's like I can't jump the same way I can on skates, and I can't turn fakie the same way and like adjust my positioning with my ankles. It's like you're just kind of, you're in it. You got to use your whole like lower leg to do stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Challenging, but it's fun. Yeah.
It's really fun to play with the like front and back like weight distribution compared to rollerblades. Because you have like so much room to like lean forward and pull back and like press into it. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I don't watch a ton of skiing, but I do watch some stuff that comes out, like the bunch.
Of course.
The bunches and their video from earlier in the year. Yeah, I watched that recently and I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Suit Space, you should probably watch a little bit of that. It's pretty fucking wild.
It's hard to keep up with everything going on in skiing, but
for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely have like a group of people that I enjoy and I just follow their stuff.
Yeah. Taylor, have you ever dabbled?
I've gone snowboarding. With Joey. I've never tried skiing, which seems fun. Like even whenever I think about it, I'm like, why didn't I ever try that? I always had the option to like pick, but I'd like to try it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think it does. You do it enough and it does something with your skating too. Like it makes you think about skates differently. Yeah, like last week I went skiing and then I've skated since then. And my skates feel like these little toys on my feet.
So small, right?
That do exactly what I want them to do, and I can manipulate them very easily.
That must be a cool feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird.
It makes your skates feel like a little bit more snappy, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
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 How are winters in Vancouver?
They're very rainy. We don't actually get a lot of snow in the city of Vancouver. You just get like long stretches of rain.
Okay.
So it's just kind of wet always. But you do get like little gaps of nice weather in December, January, and February where you can just skate street. It's fun.
So it never gets like kind of like a bitter cold, like a freezing, like a zero.
Yeah, like it goes below zero at night a little bit, but not a lot, and like not during the daytime so much. Like you get the odd bit of snow here, but you don't get snow every winter in Vancouver.
And just for we're talking about 0 Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
No, Fahrenheit.
Because we also have American. See, I got him. The American viewer was thrown off.
He was.
It's not below. 0 is freezing Celsius.
I'm sorry. Below 36 or whatever it is.
I think it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, 32. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, below 32 doesn't happen so much here. But yeah.
Nice.
That's a huge draw to Vancouver for sure, is the climate. compared to the rest of the country. It's a big thing.
Where you grew up, did you experience like an actual winter, or like?
Yeah.
I say
Like,
actual, I mean
same as like New Jersey sort of thing, but probably a little worse.
yeah.
Yeah, that kind of deal.
Yeah, but you're still on the water, correct? Like more or less.
Yes, on the
So you
coast.
get like that nice, like salty, like winter, which is a special brutal.
Yes, it is.
How far away is the city you guys grew up in, that like compared to Vancouver?
On the
How
other
far
side of
away is
the
it?
Oh, it's on the other side of the East Coast. Yeah, we mentioned that
Yeah.
before, didn't we? How,
Yeah.
what inspired them? Like, did you guys move as like a crew to Vancouver, or like did
Right.
one person start doing it?
So initially, like Danny Beer would come. He would come to Vancouver in the summers. For a few years, like he became friends with Leon Bassin and other skaters here, and then he started coming to Vancouver every summer, and then just going back to St. John's for the rest of the year. And then he came out here to go to school, and then so it's like more permanent. And then my brother did the same thing, and he came to Vancouver to do school. So then Danny and Colin were kind of situated here. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Vancouver for a summer because I can stay with one of them. And then I never went back. So
nice.
Wait, actually, like you thought you were gonna go for just the summer, and then you were like, actually, I'm actually gonna stay.
that's what happened. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Coming up on 6 years. Yeah. Yeah. Moved in May of 2015, which is pretty wild to think about, but yeah, no regrets. I miss home. I do, but I'm where I'd like to be, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
It seems like a really great city, and as far as like the climate in Canada for you guys to keep skating all year round, it's really sick.
Yeah, it's great.
I love Vancouver while I was there. It was like
Yeah.
amazing.
I was gonna say you would know what it's like here. I wish that more people would come through.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city, and there's so much water like flowing throughout the city, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, that's something not common in like
No
American cities at all.
No. Yeah, humans are very attracted to water, I think Vancouver has some of the best drinking water in the world. Is
Really?
Yeah,
that's bold. I got it.
Bold. Yeah.
Have you traveled to other places outside of we mentioned Mexico and America? Have you gone to like Europe or anything?
I've been to the UK and I've been to France. Haven't really skated there though.
But you have drank their water.
Yeah, that's what I was checking on.
Yeah, I've had their water.
All right, you're a global drinker.
I'm a global drinker. I have a little bit of a sample there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paris has surprisingly pretty good water, believe it or not. London doesn't have good water.
It's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know why that seems like a stereotype, but like London, England would have this like shitty water, and France has like really nice water.
And I feel like LA has a stereotype for water too.
Not great.
Yeah, it's San Francisco is much better.
I agree. It sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
You gotta Brita all day. But Long Island, New York has some great water, dude.
Interesting.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
Guess that, but okay.
Yeah. It's like sand filtered.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Sand filtered.
Yeah, it like goes through like the Pine Barrens, which is like sandy ground, and then there's like little aquifers, and you pull the water out of the aquifers.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Our water comes from the mountains here.
Oh, the runoff. It's fucking the best there is.
Oh, that's probably that's nice.
Yeah.
Crisp.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Water is my favorite drink, hands down, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah. Are you drinking, was that water you just sip there?
No, it's a giant glass of moonshine.
Oh.
No, just kidding. It's definitely water.
Taylor, are you consuming a beverage right now?
It's water, and I had like a hydration tablet in it, had electrolytes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I like to pepper up the water sometimes, add a little zest. Lemon's
Yeah.
always nice too.
It is. Yeah, I sometimes do that as well.
Do you
Hey,
have a favorite water additive?
A favorite water additive? I don't have a favorite water additive. Honestly, like I just like having straight water. I think that's a big thing. Taylor, you asked me earlier about, is there anything I've done that's like um, been a factor in like how I've changed a lot, like maybe physically. I attribute a lot to water, I have to say. I started drinking a lot more water.
Were you like a heavy soda person or anything like that? Like
No, I wasn't a heavy, like I would have sweetened drinks, I guess. That was a thing. Not necessarily soda, but like iced tea and other random stuff like that. And especially growing up, I had a lot of that. And I didn't appreciate water at all. It wouldn't be my go-to. And then I started drinking a lot more water, and that is a magical substance for me, at least. It's done a lot. Yeah, you don't realize that you're dehydrated all the time until you start drinking water more.
It's so wild that you attribute that to like as a big change. But it seems like it was something you thought about. You're like, I'm gonna drink more water now, or like
I guess so. I don't know if that was a conscious thing either, but I've realized that I think I spent most of my life, like throughout adolescence, just being dehydrated all the time. Just because I didn't drink water. I'd only have other kinds of drinks.
I drink more water now than when I was younger, for sure. Because
sure.
I definitely understand. Like there's definitely a huge importance that just that clear liquid that does nothing but hydrate you. It's very important.
Yeah, I mean your body is mostly made of water. You got to put more of it into you all the time.
Yeah, it's as we get older, we definitely start to feel the effects of not enough water more prevalently.
You it too. I think like that's part of like you start to age and you look older, and that's because you're not hydrated. Yeah, you can tell when people are hydrated too. It's another thing. You can like, if you know someone well enough, a close friend of yours, like you can see in their face, like, oh, you haven't had any water today, or you're dehydrated right now. It goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean, some of my friends haven't seen enough water. That is for sure.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and Germ, drink some water. You're not gonna listen to this, but drink some fucking water.
I thought about this earlier before we came on. I wanted to ask you, what's your relationship like with Ben Magaziner? He made these funny videos of Jar Chicken Man, and you were a subject. We were shouted out in one. What's your guys' relationship like?
Like recently?
No, this is kind of old. Sorry, it's like from a while ago. He's making this drink of some sorts. Yeah. He just shouts you out, and then he just kind of keeps going. I was like, why? I don't get. Do you drink that drink a lot or anything, or did you put him onto that recipe?
I don't think if there's been any exchange of recipe, it's been from Ben to me. I'll say that. And I don't know specifically what you're referring to, but Ben is a good friend of mine for sure. I support Jar Chicken and what he does. I don't really know much of the origin of that, but
wait, are you saying jarred chicken? I have no.
Yeah, Ben, he does a lot of meal prep.
Oh, okay.
Ben Magaziner, and he'll have mason jars, and he'll put his meals in a mason jar instead of like another Tupperware container, and he does a lot of chicken. So he calls it jar chicken, and it's just Ben's meals. They're in a jar. And
I support jarred chicken.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out his series, shout out Beam Magaziner on Instagram. It's a really great series. Joe Chicken
It's,
Man.
yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Ben. I love Ben. I really, Ben has taught me a lot about just like taking care of your body for sure. He's a super knowledgeable guy about um, fitness and things that are important for skaters to do, particularly like a lot of stretching stuff. He knows all kinds of things about diet as well, um, and other things. He's just a very knowledgeable person, a great person to know for anyone.
Yeah, definitely a cool
Uh,
guy.
yeah, yeah. I really miss being able to see Ben with the border, but it is what it is. Yeah, shout out Ben for sure. Do either of you know Ben?
I don't know him personally.
Not
Okay.
personally.
Okay.
He's just
Yeah.
said some kind things to me at different points in time, and I respect what he does immensely.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's a necessary contribution to our community.
That's great. He definitely is.
I second what Taylor said.
Nice. Okay.
I've never met him personally. I would love to.
Yeah.
Seems like a cool dude.
He is. Yeah. Yeah. Not sure what the shout out is particularly that you were referring to, Taylor, but yeah, probably some inside thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of even better that you have no idea what I'm talking about, and it sounds more or less totally random.
Yeah. Probably.
So I'm trying to get to maybe I'm just trying to get to the bottom of something, and there's no bottom to this.
There's nothing there for you.
Cool.
Yeah. That's it.
Stuart, we've been talking for almost 2 hours now. What is any final words that you'd like to impart on to our listeners and anyone else in the community?
I don't think I have anything to preach. No. Definitely, I enjoy how quickly time passes when you're talking with people. That's a nice thing.
It's fun, right?
It is. It's nice.
Yeah.
Flow state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other things that you would like to ask me?
Do you think there's something that we should ask you that we maybe have missed or overlooked at some point?
No.
Do you feel like we did a pretty thorough job at your skate history and the things that you appreciate?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you appreciate that you didn't get to touch on?
No, I don't feel that way at all. I think it's always interesting being asked questions that I haven't been asked before. And then it just brings up stuff that I haven't thought about in many years, you know?
And it's a really fun reason for us to get to know you a little better. Because we wouldn't normally walk up to you somewhere and then start asking you these kind of random, deep questions about your history. It would come off a little different if we weren't in this setting.
That's true. And I'd be okay with it still, but it would be different.
Yeah, you'd be like, it would definitely be a little off-putting if I came up to you and were like, how'd you get into skating, Stu?
For the next 2
What's up,
hours.
bud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can weasel your way into that question, but you can't start with it.
No, it's definitely not a lead off. But yeah, thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hope you had a good time.
Yeah, it was nice. I'm often like doing Zoom stuff where I'm a student as well. So I'm usually just on the receiving end of information, but it's nice to be talking to people on the computer too, instead of just listening to them. Yeah, it feels like more direct. It's nice.
Yeah, it is. It was fun to talk to you, man.
Oh yeah.
Fucking pleasure.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for having me.
No problem, everyone.
Not a problem.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Good night, guys.